Hey guys, it's D.Bowie here, and these are things I learned with EG.Arteezy's Huskar in 7.06. Before I start this video, I want to point out to everyone that while everyone hates on Huskar and feels like he's a bad hero, he is at the moment one of the 10 best win rate heroes in 7.06 on 5k plus games. Part of it is the fact that people actually get Omnis, Dazzles and Oracles to pair with him in those MMRs, but also because hero is definitely legit. I won my fair share of games without any defensive supports in this patch. Also, I just want to remind everyone that I am crowdfunding my way to TI7, and if you're interested in the project or in the work that I do, please check the link in the description. Arteezy starts the laning phase with one of my favorite Huskar builds. He is very low on mana and also benefits a lot from those bursts of HP in fights, making Wand great on him, especially if any of the Radiant heroes decide to duo offlane with Night Stalker, since Skywrath and Earth Spirit are very reliant on skills to do damage. He also goes for the Fairy Fire, something that works kinda like Wand because of the extra burst of HP, and also gives him extra damage, which Huskar lacks in the early stages of the game. Huskar is a great hero because against 1 versus 1s, there's probably no other hero that can win the lane against him. It can be Tide, X, Bristle, all those tanky offlaners just melt. You can easily harass your opponents without drawing aggro, and all you need to get good at him is less hitting with low base damage. Your weakest point is the level 1, and because of that, as a support, it's always a good idea to leave the lane clean for your carry Husk, like Oracle does here. One interesting thing to note on how Arteezy plays is that he's not randomly harassing Night Stalker, because the enemy was very good in drawing aggro. Even now that Arthur has level 2, he doesn't start to attack Night Stalker all the time, because after that range creep dies, he will take more harass than he wants to take. If you have the chance to harass an enemy while taking 0 damage, why would you go for it when he can slow you while 3 mindless creeps kick your ass? Oracle ends up pulling, and we can see some crispy less hitting here. Most of the time when you're below 65 damage per hit, it's just safer to attack every creep once and let the tower do its own thing, and then you less hit. When the creeps come damage already though, you kinda need to work on feeling. Arteezy ends up missing this one because he sucks, and this one because with a creep wave attacking, it can get pretty hard. That being said though, the first thing Arthur does afterwards is ham Night Stalker's Batman ass the way he likes it. Huskar is not only strong as a mid-game hero, but also in making the offlane enemies mid-game trash. Since Oracle shows up in the right time, he's able to dish a lot of Orb Walk damage before the root procs, and then a lot of damage afterwards. If you don't know what Orb Walking is, you should definitely find my video about that. If you call Orb Walking by other names, I know there are other names, guys, I just like Orb Walking, I don't know. As you can see, the slow combined with damage from the creeps is very strong against you. After all, you're a low armor range hero that doesn't get damage block. Being good at less hitting with Huskar not only will allow you to get that 7 to 8 minute armlet after harassing the enemy offlaner, it will also give you the chance to get kills, since you're getting boots as your first item instead of Blaze of Attack, and those boots actually guarantee the kill here. One interesting decision I feel like pointing out is Arteezy going for the Helm of the Iron Will. Usually, there are 2 outcomes in a Huskar lane. The enemy didn't even bother trying to contest the lane, which means you probably have all of your regen items, or what happened in this game. Night Stalker contested the lane, died, but Huskar takes a lot of damage, be it from your own burning spears or creeps attacking you. In these situations, it's a good idea to get the Helm. The extra regen will allow you not to be low on HP in case the enemy tries to gank you. It's also nighttime against Night Stalker, which means that he might show up in the lane, even though he died already. After the Helm, he goes for the Gloves of Haste instead of the Blades of Attack. At this point, you can less hit pretty well, and in case you need to fight, the extra move speed synergizes way better with Huskar than Blades of Attack. Level 6 is one of Huskar's biggest power spikes, and as such, you should try to get kills with him. Don't just ult the enemy and try to kill him until he runs away though. Night Stalker is a strength hero with high armor. Look how our boy approaches this task. He actually starts pushing the lane with burning spears, something he never did before. Night Stalker won't try to get less hits when the lane is close to Huskar's tower, so by pushing the lane he can lure an enemy and get a kill. Also, by using burning spears, he already increases his attack speed, and this can be the difference in actually getting a kill when you just ult with full HP or not. Since the tower is aggroing in the creeps, he harasses Night Stalker slightly, even though Quap is around. And only when the last creep is about to die, and then he would lose vision, he decides to dive and ult. He doesn't dive the tower randomly as well. He waits the tower to aggro creeps to come back, uses his heal, and that also buys time for Huskar's ult to be available again. As he hams on Earth Spirit nerfed ass, pay attention how he doesn't keep diving. In fact, he disengages as lands the final hits. That spirit is as dead as my love life, and he tries to use that to survive this tier 2 dive. Oracle decides to show up, but with the silence he's forced to back off and dies without even buying his items. No wonder they lost to Liquid. Just a few moments later, Oracle and Huskar bring a little bit of pride back to the dire side. Pay attention not only to how Huskar approaches this kill, but Oracle as well. If Night Stalker knew that Oracle was there, it's very unlikely he would stand in such an aggressive manner in the lane. But look what Oracle does. He refrains from getting less hits, he refrains from doing anything. And because of that, Arthur makes sure to check Night Stalker's items. Well, nothing major, but it's always a good idea to check. And he goes for a very low key TP as well. And in this case, since they were going to lose vision because the creep was about to die, he starts the gank with life break, getting an easy kill. Easy armlet, crispy kill. Now that it's daytime, he definitely wants to push the lane forward. Not only he can kill any hero by himself, Huskar is great at pushing towers, and this is one of the things that make him such a great hero. Don't be greedy though. With shrines and the fact that people can't TP without you seeing the tier 1s, it's just better to attack with the armlet turned off, unless you have vision of everyone in other lanes or you're full HP. I'm a big fan on how he approaches the incoming wave. See how he takes it fairly fast by using 3 burning spears on each creep? He doesn't waste his HP attacking a creep that will die anyways with the DPS, and that allows him to finish the tower faster. He has vision of a lot of heroes bot and Oracle close to him, so with Inner Vitality, he finally turns Armlet on to finish the tower. One very interesting change-up in this game is Arteezy going for a naked mask right after Armlet to Roshan with it. I feel like this comes from the nerfs to Dragonlance and also the quote-unquote buffs to the mask. Without the mask, you can struggle to Rosh before the level 15 talent. The timing of the smoke is also important and a lot of people disregard that. They go for it as soon as a fight starts, and even though Sven tells everyone that Huskar is missing, people just ignore him, and you will see why. Pay attention how Arteezy uses Armlet as well. You want to toggle it as soon as Roshan attacks you, and then it's pretty much impossible to die unless you misplay or the enemy contests it. I also want to mention the fact that they have wards in the area. Since Arteezy knows that Earth Spirit is coming, he toggles his Armlet once, and now he just can't do it again or he risks dying without the Aegis, especially with Earth Spirit ulting. In these situations, it's just better to attack Rosh, and he grabs the Aegis, kills Earth Spirit, and almost survives since he used Magic Wand in the last second. Not an ideal Roshan, but it could have gone super bad for Dire. As Arthur pushes the mid tier 1, I want to mention his skill build because there's actually a lot of nuance to it. In this game, with the exception of Sven, Radiant just has a ton of magic damage. And in the early game, Sven is not a problem since he will be mostly farming, and because of it, he maxes his passive. That's not the usual skill build though. The way this skill scales is pretty bad, but let's get more in depth about how it scales. The attack speed scales very poorly. You get max 220 attack speed at level 1 and 340 at level 4, which means you get pretty much 50% increase with 3 levels. The magic resistance though starts at max 20 and goes up to 50. This means that if you don't care about magic damage at all, it's just better to get some extra inner vitality points, because this means you can go for the retarded dives and 2 versus 5 fights and end up victorious. That's not really the case in this game though. Since there's no Aegis and nighttime is coming, Arthur goes back to the tier 1 top. Another interesting thing to note is that regardless of players going for more points in Inner Vitality or Berserker's Blood, you will rarely see them grabbing the level 10 talent early on. 175 HP might seem very tempting on a hero that relies on being low on HP, but having max Inner Vitality is very important. If you're only facing physical damage, I can see you getting the talent right after maxing the first skill, but in this case you really want to max Inner Vitality first. It's literally a 400% HP regen increase from level 1 to level 4. Oracle being on the team just increases the priority more, but even without him, I feel like the regen is just too good to pass. Another important aspect to note, he doesn't get level 2 ult. The skill is way more about purging debuffs and slowing your enemy. The increase in slow and duration is not all that significant. Neither is the increase in current health as damage. When Ember engages here, pay attention how Arteezy plays. They have no wards, it's nighttime, and jumping on Ember makes 0 sense. See how he only pokes Ember and keeps disengaging? On top of that, Ember has Blade Mail. In these situations, you basically want to pop your regen and disengage without messing for Armlet. Having more points in regen gives you more HP per second than you lose with Armlet, guaranteeing that you can disengage safely. And this is something that a lot of Huskars just don't understand. They always try to go in when you really need to choose your fights better, and having Inner Vitality guarantees you that. After the silence was committed though, he can turn, and I really like how he doesn't even bother ulting the Night Stalker. He's dead anyways. That allows him to jump for other kills and maybe purge Earth Spirit ult if he doesn't get stunned before. They end up fighting him, and you can see that the ult gets instantly purged, but the Ebola hits him again later. In this game, the ult is pretty good against the Night Stalker's low, the Searing Chains, Veil of Discord and other things, but you have to remember that Silence is very good against Huskar, and they have 3 silences. That's why you don't want to go in like crazy as well. I really dig how Arteezy plays after they take the tier 2. TP back to base? Nope. He goes to the shrine, farms the ancients, something a lot of people completely disregard when playing Huskar. He is actually pretty good against them. He then pops the shrine, and even though he's low on HP, all Huskar really needs is mana to cast Inner Vitality in fights. Another small efficiency tip to note: he farms the golem's parents and then boops the kids with 1 Burning Spears, which is enough to slowly kill each and every one of them. Crispy. The only risk of walking low on HP in this game is when Sven shows up. If he has no time to cast Halberd on, then he is under heavy risk of dying. I won't flame him that much this time because he was actually looking at Batman in the mid lane. He wanted to solo kill him with his haste rune, and when he goes back to his camera, he had no time to Halberd Sven since he blinked behind him. I feel like he could actually survive to this, but with 1 rock to the face, his natural regen is just not enough to save him. When he respawns, we can see some extra notable efficiencies. Ulting as soon as you respawn is very good because you just attack too slowly at full HP. He also Burning Spears the catapult just a little and waits until the DOT kills it. When he goes for the ancients, he uses Halberd on the annoying Prowler, but to me it's just better to wait for him to attack you and then ult, since you spend no mana. Maybe he was just afraid to get ganked and didn't want to lose so much HP. But be aware of using Halberd because it actually costs a lot of mana, and Huskar is one of the heroes that really suffer from it. Let's take a look into some mid-game teamfights with Huskar now. First of all, Huskar attacked the tower for a long time without committing his regen. The regen is kinda bad when you're high on HP, and it's just better to use it slightly before you feel like a fight might happen, especially when you're against 3 silences. Just before the real fight starts, Arteezy has a glimpse of vision where Sven is low on HP. This means he can go all out without Sven's interruption. He disengages slightly here, Radiant approaches the fight super well, Earth Spirit was expecting people to be behind Huskar, and he finds Lich. But going back to Arteezy, as soon as the Blade Mail is popped, he keeps regening and he starts focusing Earth Spirit. Still, during all of this, he never bothered to ult, but as soon as Ember commits his Remnant, he knows it's time to jump in, since the next Remnant will be super slow, and because of that he gets a double kill. The only mistake Arthur committed in this fight was using Halberd on Ember. I mean, even if Ember wanted to fight, his right clicks are meaningless. But because he saw Sven in that fight, he thought that maybe Sven was not going to be there in time, and even though the fight seems to be going very well for the Dire, Sven shows up and he has no cooldown to cast it. Even then, Earth Spirit and Night Stalker need to be praised, they played pretty well in this fight. A very interesting situation unfolds and I want to give my 2 cents on it. Huskar is pushing the tier 2 top after taking ages, and some fights start unfolding in the mid lane. If he was playing something like Anti-Mage Luna with Hurricane Pike, Murana, Weaver, heroes that are very mobile, pushing was probably a better idea. When you go back like this so early into the game, the respawn timers don't allow you to either siege or force buybacks. Huskar is the complete opposite of a slippery hero though, and it's just too risky for him to keep going in the tier 3 even with ages. In the end, it's still a pretty good trade. They take tier 2, they don't lose their own, and they take Skywrath and Sven. I really like how Arthur approaches the next siege. As he goes mid, you can see Ember creep skipping top lane. All of his allies are bot, so as he goes towards, he farms the ancients, and when it gets clear that Ember is going mid, it's just better to gather everyone bot. This is one of Huskar's biggest power spikes, a first big item, ages before the 30-minute mark. At this stage, you really want a lane of barracks, so pay attention and don't screw this up because you can easily start looking like EG against Liquid on the Epicenter finals if you let this chance slip. His creeps are coming, he pops Inner Vitality and just sieges. See how he ignores everything? You're super durable at this stage, especially with Assault. He takes the tower without even noticing that his enemies exist, and the most important point when playing with an Oracle is always making sure to have Inner Vitality on when he ults. Since your HP will be capped at that HP, you're going to heal so much it's almost impossible to die. So pay attention to that, and also tell your teammates to stay behind you unless the enemy engages. If they don't, you just keep attacking the buildings. It took a long time for him to decide to get aggressive, and even though Skywrath drags him back, it's just not nearly enough. Provided you win this fight, you're Gucci. Huskar can easily take 2, even 3 lanes of barracks after winning a mid-game fight like this, and well, this game is actually over. I love Huskar, and I feel like if you want to win MMR, this is a very good hero to spam, since the fast games are very rewarding. Guys, I just want to tell everyone that I am streaming pretty regularly now. If you actually want to see me making my own videos, playing games, casting, and doing a lot of retarded stuff, just follow me on Twitch. I'm almost on 2k followers, and I'm actually going to give an Arcana away when I get to 2k followers, so make sure to follow me there, and I will give more instructions once we hit that number. As always, Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fog, Monib, and get better at the game. They have now great content on the new patch, and if you want to raise your MMR, it's just a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy, crispy wins. If winning MMR is not enough for you though, you should definitely check out our new partner, Lootcase. There you can win and find beautiful cosmetics and go from 0 to hero. They give you a bonus on every deposit you go for, but if you register with my referral link, you're gonna get an even bigger one, so check that out guys.